Oh, this is so wonderful. I, I am in love with your organization. This is John McGee's vision and some. It really is. You've taken it even further. I agree strongly that the foundation of everything has to be that nurturing and this sustenance of that nurturing, not just, an in and out or on and off, but that consistency. And that's what I see here. I really do. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's so important. And for me, that's the elephant in the room. What have you been through? What are you bringing in? What is it that you're carrying? Sometimes it's positive, but a lot of people are bringing in a lot of very heavy stuff. And, abandonment, rejection, loss, pain. And if we don't acknowledge it, that person's going to feel like they have to hide it, or they can't be themselves, or that they won't be trusted. So I think it's so important that we really just embrace people, embrace their history, and let them know, here is the safe place. Here's where you can talk about what you've been through and be accepted and cared about. Not pretend that you haven't been through it, but acknowledge it's there, it was tough, and in many ways, you're a hero for having gone through it. That's a very important concept that Francine Shapiro introduced, who just recently passed away. And she is was an expert on trauma. And she said that not only do the big T traumas, so we know that if you see a history of physical abuse, sexual abuse, horrible repeated foster care placements or institutionalization, you know that that's serious trauma. But she says the smaller traumas also add up. So like the bullying, the smaller rejections, the loss, the not fitting in, the not being included, the being discriminated against, time after time. She said those smaller traumas actually add up, and in many cases can result in post-traumatic stress disorder and can be just as significant as the larger traumas. Oh, I told people when I first heard John McGee, it was the most validating thing, that I was really struggling in this field. I'd been in the field for a little while and kept thinking, this doesn't make sense. What are these people talking about? This makes no sense at all. Controlling behaviors, managing behaviors, why are you even saying that? It's horrible. And then, when I heard John and he talked about love and he talked about caring and he talked about listening and he talked about respecting and relationship, I was like, yes, yes, this is what it's about. And then the safety piece is so critical because, of course, my area being trauma and supporting people's development and growth of identity, safety is everything. You cannot heal from trauma until you feel safe. And I believe that every single person with a disability has had trauma. Just the condition of having a disability on this planet, that's trauma. And you need to feel safe. If you're even going to begin the healing process, you need to know you're emotionally safe. So safety, we have all kinds of measures of safety, but true safety is that you're with people that care about you, that aren't going to hurt you, and that are going to respect you. And that's true safety. Yes, John knew it. John was so ahead of his time. He was so ahead of his time. Now, we haven't really talked about trauma in the mental health field until about the last 10 years. And then it kind of exploded in the last 6 or 7 years because people have realized, yes, this is really the core issue. And this has to be addressed. And people do have to see that what people have gone through has affected them. And we can't talk about behavior. We have to talk about people's, wellness and mental health. And we also have to talk about, what have they gone through and what symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder are they manifesting. And what I really believe is that for many years in this field, we shamed people about their symptoms. They're not doing these behaviors deliberately. They're not trying to manipulate someone. They're not trying to get something. They're actually showing us their pain. And we're not listening and we're not seeing them in many cases. Not you guys. You've got this. But in many cases, we miss the boat totally by focusing on behavior and not understanding what has been your life experience, what have you gone through, and what do you need? What do you need to heal? Oh, that's a great question. Trauma-informed support, I think, has several components. And as we've been talking about, the first is safety. People have to know that the staff that they are with, the folks that are there for them, are safe people, are emotionally safe. Excuse me, care about them, listen to them, respect them, and are present, are truly present for them. That's number one. Number two is that people need connections. They need relationships, and not just paid. They need lots of relationships, friendships, significant others if that's what they're interested in. They need a web, a network of meaningful relationships. And then finally, they need to have a sense of power or control over their life. They need to be able to have agency to move their own life forward, not to just be listening to everybody's direction and following this and following that, but no, to impact their own life and to have true choice and true control. Good point. Well, I'm all about hugging. Hug, hug, hug. Hands are good for hugging, for touching, but I will always check in with people and try to know their comfort zone with touch. And I think part of the ethics of touch is that check-in. What are you okay with? And getting to know kind of the spatial relationships. I am a hugger. I am a toucher. But I have worked with some folks that just didn't want that, so I had to be respectful of that. But I think for me, a caring touch says so much and is so comforting, and is also very helpful when someone is very upset in soothing and helping them to get grounded back to the present. Great question. Oh my goodness, the relationship is damaged when people are threatening or even bribing, cajoling, and then taking away, oh, you didn't earn your soda. Oh, you're not going to get to see your mother this weekend. Crazy things that I've seen which were based on contingencies that were supposed to be based on behavior, when actually it really damages their fundamental relationship, because I'd like to see people as a coach, as a supporter, rather than as an enforcer. And when we talk about contingencies, when we talk about punishment, even when we talk about rewards, it ends up being about taking away the reward sometimes. So when we talk about every aspect of contingency, we're no longer being supporters, we're being enforcers. And that's not a safe relationship. And I think it really damages the fundamental trust. People will go along with it because they have no choice. But it really damages the trust, and then there's always that caution after that. Oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. Those are my thoughts. We have to listen, and I think it's very important to make that listening a priority, and figure out how to hear someone, how to truly hear them, not just superficially hear them, how to truly listen, how to truly get them. Like John said, asking the right questions, interacting on a deeper level, being that safe person that you can open up to. And I think that's so important, and it's so wonderful when it's done on the front line, like it is done here, like you are doing. And then I also believe that people need therapeutic supports as well. And all the skills that therapists are trained in, they can be using for people with disabilities, rather than discriminating against them and saying that they don't qualify. They actually can thrive, you know, as a result of seeing therapists and working with them. But the bottom line is being able to go home to somebody who really cares, really listens, and is that safe person that you can just open up to. I am so impressed with CORE. This is the most amazing agency. You, again, let me say, you have taken John McGee's vision and ideas and real insights and run 10,000 miles forward with it. You have done so much to really help people that everybody else gave up on. And it's so clear that people are thriving here. People feel cared about, respected, and valued. And you're not just talking about it, it's actually happening. You have the most amazing staff who do incredible work and who are really, truly committed. I have been blown away for the last several days by all the people I've met, by the work that's being done, and by your vision and your commitment to the values that you all espouse and that we all learn from John.